For the individual creative practitioner, there are many concerns, from development and promotion to the ability to land and maintain a group of paying clients. However, for creatives as a community, in the global sense, there are bigger issues, such as innovation. But what is innovation? How does it happen? And in the digital age, can social media be an engine for this? We could define innovation as being the process of creating new methods, ideas, or products, something seen as being crucial for the continuing success of any organization or group. In medieval Italy, the Medici family decided to actively fund artists, architects, inventors, and thinkers, and furthermore provided a space within the city of Florence for the free and intense exchange of ideas. The result? The Renaissance, arguably one of the greatest periods of creative innovation the world has ever seen. When different disciplines collided and collaborated, new connections were made. Knowledge was shared, ideas explored and refined and looked at differently. Communication in that diverse context led to innovation. Fast forward to the end of the 19th century and the start of the 20th century. Another city became a nexus for intense communication and collaboration between a range of disciplines. Paris. Artists, writers, philosophers, actors, and those looking to back them financially all flocked to Paris. In studios, bars, cafes, and clubs, again, intense, diverse communication and collaboration led to innovation that would stretch far beyond the arts and into the very way we came to define this modern era. In his book, The Medici Effect, Frans Johansson refers to this phenomenon as intersection. According to Johansson, when you step into the intersection, you can combine concepts between multiple fields, generating ideas that leap in new directions. These are what he calls intersectional ideas. If we look back to the collaborations and intersections mentioned previously, we see certain commonalities. Diversity of thought and knowledge occurring in a relatively localized space, and the availability of a high degree of funding. But the thought must not only be diverse, but new, and recognized as such by a significant number of people. This is where the ideas, methods, and products that emerge from these intersections of innovation must reach the world at large. The digital age has changed our world in fundamental ways and will continue to do so. The advent of the World Wide Web, and more recently social media, has changed the way we communicate and collaborate. People can connect almost anywhere in the world, almost instantly. Inclusivity in this context has never been higher. But has this phenomenon led to global innovation? Where is this innovation now found, and to what extent does social media make this possible? Johansson states that usually we think of individuals as creative, but creativity really occurs when people act in concert with the surrounding environment and within society. Social media can certainly act as a means by which innovation can become recognized on a wider stage. Indeed, Andrew Middleton and Sue Beckingham from Sheffield Hallam University confirm that social media was purposefully conceived to be a social, creative, and collaborative space. Even a quick look at social media, for example, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, reveals that diversity of thought is present. Creatives post their work, for feedback and promotional purposes mostly. It is also used by creatives to gain inspiration and to see what others are doing. Others share their likes and dislikes, their passions and their obsessions, not merely as creatives, but as people. Still others enjoy the discussion, argument, and expression of opinion that social media provides. Social media, and the way we immerse ourselves in it, can be whatever we want it to be.
I use it as a communication tool. I also use it to share what I'm doing so that people can see what I'm doing. So it becomes a promotional tool as well. That people can see my work, they can see what I'm involved with. I think the other thing is it becomes a personal narrative.
Rory related a story to me about a client at the BBC who used Twitter to scout for illustrators and quickly found someone in Denmark. This led Rory to one simple conclusion about social media.
So it does open it up, but what it means is that if you're not on it, you are literally cutting yourself off from opportunity.
However, ideas and comments and images are constantly streaming through social media. These risk becoming lost in a saturated market. Also, the relative brevity and shortness of lifespan of individual posts can potentially lead to intense but ultimately transitory interest, as opposed to the kind generated by intense, protracted, and localized intersection. Yet, social media has various tricks up its sleeve, including the crystallization of groups and small online communities. Most social media allow direct chat between people so that the discourse crucial to innovation can start to happen. Social media also has the power to draw people towards the kind of localized events, meetings, and experiences that in turn can lead to innovation. This includes cafe and food culture, festivals of various kinds, lectures, and organized discussions. PechaKucha 2020 is a good example of this. It is an open format of public speaking, usually in a bar or cafe, which uses 20 slides, each lasting 20 seconds. The speaker must say their piece within this limit. Importantly, this is enabled and promoted by the use of social media and has become viral in nature. The range of talks and resulting discussions possible through this format sets the stage for small-scale innovation.
2008 that I first got my Twitter account, and within a short period I think I had about 500 followers. Now it's not about bragging about followers, but I found that quite a quick growth. Now it was a quick growth because I was going out to events. There was something called Social Media Cafe, and it was a group, it was a networking event, and the event actually had talks, people who would speak and talk about their experience with social media, and it was largely about Twitter, and there were debates, like people get really heated. It was really interesting because there were journalists, there were like developers and coders and techie people, and then there was myself who discovered it, and a lot of marketeers and communicators, all sorts of different people, different fields, that were going to these events, and they were discussing what social media was for.
Another aspect of contemporary life, taken in conjunction with social media, also has the potential to make innovation happen: the creation of hub spaces. These are physical spaces that are typically open, connected to the internet, crucially, and allow anyone to meet, work, discuss, and collaborate in a far different way than the traditional office space would. Increasingly, companies use social media to announce competitions calling for innovations, as opposed to doing all of this in-house. Beyond this, there are web and social media-based organizations such as Innocentive and Hippios, which essentially act as an open or crowdsourced think tank. Companies set problems and people are free to form teams, solve these challenges, and get paid for solutions. According to Frederic John, the participation in such innovation communities constitutes a more participatory form of co-creation, since the user involvement is not limited to one competition. Rather, users of these communities are invited to participate in multiple problem-solving tasks. It is becoming clear that if creative practitioners want to become engaged with innovation, they need to not simply promote themselves using social media, but step outside of their field. And finally, the internet and social media phenomenon has given rise to crowdfunding, where the backing of creative and other projects comes through relatively large numbers of people donating small amounts to make the project happen, as opposed to relatively small numbers of wealthy people backing a product for perhaps the hope of financial gain. The global nature of social media can mean that ideas can spread very quickly, so that when a new idea comes along, this form of communication is well placed to allow it to thrive. A 2014 study shows exactly how big social media has become. Combined with crowdfunding, this indicates a huge potential market. So, does social media enable innovation? Yes, it does. But despite having huge potential to perhaps lead to innovation of global historical importance, innovation instead seems to occur in multiple small locations. However, when used in conjunction with local physical venues and meeting places, and within open groups, social media enables innovation to spread. Realizing its potential is surely just a matter of time.